we'll see what happens, and I'm running out. I've just gone blank. It's gone blank now. You're going to have to take it no lube. I've waffled myself into some sort of comatose state. Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. It's basically the middle of winter. It's just after Christmas here, and it's fairly fresh, so no shorts or baseball caps today. I need to keep my ears warm. So what we're doing today is putting some featherboarding on the back of this extension. This is the extension that I did this bastard hip video on, so if you haven't seen that video, check that out. It's on my channel. I've done some cladding videos before, but you know, here's another one. So basically it's a fairly simple case of we've got to put some membrane on it first, then we've got to put 25mm by 50 battens on, and then we've got to fit the boarding. So what have I done already? So first thing I've done, I'll just quickly show you here. First thing I've done, and this is no slight on the bricklayers, but basically all I've done is just quickly nipped around with a bolster just to make sure there's sort of no bulges or high points in the bed joints, because obviously we're having a batten down here on the edges, and if there's a sort of bulging bed joint there, it's going to push it out. So I've just literally kind of just gone over the whole thing and make sure that there's nothing sticking out. So yeah, I've got a load of stuff ready to go here. Got some membrane that I'm going to put on. I've got some, what did I get here? Some 30mm clout nails for that. Had to go and do a bit of shopping because basically all my screw boxes and tool fixing boxes are empty. 25 by 50mm batten. I've got my membrane here, as I said. The boarding here has come nicely wrapped up, so I'm hoping that's going to be some good stuff in there. And then the other thing is this. This is actually hardy plank starter trim. So this is what goes on the bottom, obviously, so we can have some ventilation. So first job is going to be tacking on some of this membrane. So I've just rolled out some membrane on the floor there. I'm not going to sort of roll it out upright and try and struggle with it. What I've also done, so I don't have to go right down on my knees, the membrane starting here at this bottom course, I've just put a metre mark there, and then I've put a 1.9 mark there, so there's 100mm overlap. I know you should have more, but this is not on a roof, this is sort of vertically. So yeah, so all I need to do is, you see there's a mark there and then another mark there. I can just put those into those marks. It saves me sort of scrabbling around on the floor. So let's get that first layer tacked up. So I got my back on you there, that's not good camera positioning, is it? Lovely. Don't need to go mad with the nails here, obviously, because it's going to have batten on it. So just fortunately it's not too windy today. But obviously, anyone who works with this kind of membranes, be it a roof or building wrap, knows that when it's windy, it's a blooming right struggle. But right, these are sort of fairly lightweight, sort of clinker type blocks, so they do take these nails quite well. And actually, I have in the past actually used cut nails to fix the battens of these, but I'm probably going to screw and plug them today. Right, that's surely got to be the most boring thing to watch somebody do on YouTube, so I will get the rest of that on. I'll get the rest of that on, and then we'll come back when I start doing the battens. Look at that, the sun's come out. It's absolutely banging out here. Look at that lovely blue sky. Anyway, look, all of the membranes on. Yes, it looks a bit ragtag at the minute, obviously, because it's just flapping in the wind. So what we're going to do now is cut some batten and get some batten up. Now what I've got to try and do is get it all nice and level, or level-ish anyway. So what I've done, and the last time I was here in the, you can see my shadow there, look. Look, I'll make a big star shape. Whoop, whoop, look. The last time I was here, when the light was starting to go, I got my laser level out and actually I plotted a line, as you can see, all the way along here. Did it on here as well, look. So I know that's dead level. So all I've literally done here, this line in here was in at 750 mil from the bottom. It's basically just above that bed joint there. 750 mil. So I've just come up 200 mil and put a mark, leveled a mark all the way across. You can see that there, look, marked it on that membrane. So I know that's dead level, like a datum point. Then all I've got to do, I know I'm swinging around here and there's lots of shadows. All I've got to do now is, I know the overall length of my battens. All I need to do is measure up from the bottom, 900 mil, put a mark down the side, and then, I'll try and do it here, look. Then literally, every time I come to put that batten on, all I need to do, oh, no, sorry, got a mass here. 750 plus 200 is 950, isn't it? Not 900. So, but anyway, you can see what I'm saying. I'll put that mark in at 950, and obviously that mark will hit that mark, and we know they'll all be level. So, gosh, my mass is a complete 50 mil out. So yeah, so let's cut a load of those and get some of those fixed. So I just thought I'd better quickly show you, so actually showing you what I'm doing, not what I'm not doing. So yeah, look, I'll put that line on there. Can you see that? Oh, I can't see it. There, so that line, that pencil line there, I'm literally hoping for the best this is pointing because they've got loads of glare in the viewfinder. That pencil mark just goes on that line, and we know all them we've got to do is make them upright, and we can fix them, and they'll be nice and level. Right, so time to put this first one on, and I know I said earlier, I joked about using a cut nail, but actually what I'm going to do is, I have got these cut nails here, look. So what I'm going to do just in this first instance, while I'm getting this one in position, is I'm going to get it in position at the top, put this cut nail in it just to hold it, and then I'll fix it with plugs and screws. What I've got to do, obviously we know if I keep it to the line I explained earlier, we know they're going to be level that way, but they need to be sort of plumb and upright, and it's tempting to just sort of put them flush with the reveal, but with the best one in the world, obviously we don't know if these reveals should be upright, but they're not always. So this one isn't, it's out a little bit. So I don't want this batten to follow an out, even if it's slightly out of plumb. I want these battens to be in plumb, because this is where the sort of end soldier piece goes, and that's where the boarding's going to butt up against, and obviously if this is out of plumb, potentially if we do all the cuts on the end of the board square, they could be slightly out. So yeah, this one runs out a bit at the bottom, so I'm just going to tack this top up flush. That will be maybe just leave it over, maybe just, you know, a millimetre or so. Make sure we've got it in the right place there. Yep. Okay. Should be able to get this in here. You know, I know it's old school, but cut nails are absolutely fantastic fixing in these sort of lightweight clinker blocks, or not the thermalite, the fiberlite blocks. Obviously the thermalites, the sort of grey ones, you can't get into fixing those. But anyway, that's got that upright now. So what we can do is that batten's got a slight bow on it, so certainly that's plumb. I'll just put a little mark on there. That's plumb down to the middle. So I think what I'll do, when I cut a load of these battens, I'll obviously put that 950 mark on. 1 second. Hello? Hello? Right. I can't even see if that's going. Right, okay. I can't remember what I said. That's upright. Yeah, what I said is when I cut these, put that 950 mark on there, what I'll also do is divide it up equal. I think I probably have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 fixings up there, maybe 5. What I'll do is I'll mark them out so they're all nice and even. And then we're not sort of putting them in randomly, but that's cool. Let's get a screw, drill and a screw in that. Now, I've just marked that, haven't I? Where was it there? So the other, we've got, we say 700-ish. Yeah. The other thing I've got to be careful of here is that I'm fixing close to the edge here. So, fingers crossed, it's not going to blow out. And as I've said many times before on other videos, if you look at these raw plugs, can you see that? They have a split in them. And it's very important that when you put that split, you don't put it, God, I'm trying to think, instead of putting it, if you put it a wrong way, it'll cause the plug to expand in a certain, it causes, when you put the screw in, I can't even talk straight, when you put the screw into these plugs, it causes them to expand along that split. So if you put that the wrong way round, it can, and so that split is facing the edge, it'll cause the edge to split. Whereas if you put it the other way round, so it's at, was it horizontal, that's right, it'll expand up and down and not side to side. So fingers crossed. I'm going to keep it back a little bit as well. Fingers crossed it won't blow. Let's have a go. Where are we? 700 there. I'll keep it back slightly, so not in the centre. Here we go. So make sure the slot's the right way. I'm using a 6mm drill bit, 6mm red plugs, and 5x80, probably a little bit long, 5x80 screws. Perfect. Yep. So that's going to work an absolute treat. So I'll fire a few more of them in, and then come back to see how we're getting on, because I just feel like I'm talking a lot and talking rubbish as well. Sorry about that. Right, there you go. That is all those battens fixed now. I've tidied up the edges of the membrane just so they're not flapping around everywhere. That all went well. I haven't put any, I haven't done the battening at the top, and there's a reason for that, which I'll show you when we get up there with the boarding. So that's great. I'm happy with how all that's gone. Obviously, as I said, the sun is shining fantastically now, so I've actually taken my hat off and taken a layer off. So yeah, it's actually worked out quite well. So it's lunchtime now. Again, that's not a fantastic amount of work to have done in the early part of the day, but I didn't get here till late. So I'm gonna have my lunch now, and then what we can do straight after I had a bit of a sandwich is we've got this, this is actually a hardy plank top ventilation strip. I'm using it on the bottom, it's slightly thicker than 25mm. But I put it on the bottom, and then I think, as I don't know if I said, but Hardy Plank do a starter trim, but it's designed for their 8mm board, and the feather boarding I'm using is at its thinnest point is thicker than that, so it wouldn't kick it out enough, and it would look like it was diving in at the bottom. So I'll put this vent trim on, and then rip a tiny sort of sliver fix on the front of it, and then that'll flick the bottom board out enough. But anyway, sandwich time, and then we'll come back and get that trim on. So had my lunch, cut these venting strips already. I'm just going to quickly show you what I was talking about with regard to this kick out at the bottom. So I've just got a couple of boards out here. I hope you can see this. Basically, these boards are about 180mm. We're aiming for sort of 25mm-ish lap. So that's 150mm we've got there. So as you can see, I hope you can see, the sun's not shining too much. You can see that we need to kick the board out. What's that, about 10, 11mm, something like that. So basically, what we need to do is cut a sort of little fillet of material, sort of maybe 20mm by 10mm, and then if I come down here, let me show you one of these. Get down on the floor. Oh gosh! Basically, when we stick this on here, we will then pin that little sliver I just told you about. We'll then pin or fix it somehow. What I might do is actually fix it off to one side, and actually drill through it and drill through the fillet piece and this at the same time to fix it all in once. And then what that'll do is obviously then just kick that bottom board out. So yeah, that should work a treat. So still, like I said, it's slightly bigger than 25mm, but I don't think that's going to hurt. I'm certainly going to stop any, just going to let air up there and not any, bees or critters or anything like that. So I'll get the table saw out and rip some of those fillets down. Oh, you donkey. Right, I don't know if I just explained that, and I don't know if any came out, but really quite simply, here's the fillet that I've just cut. What I've done is just drilled through slightly over to one side, because obviously I may end up putting a nail through there. Drilled through the lot with a 4mm drill bit, and then these lovely little, as you can see, wave head screws screwed in. That's got that lovely rock solid, and now that's just going to kick off exactly the right amount for the first board. So I've got that side to do and that side to do, and then we can start thinking about setting up for our first board. So I've cut the first board to length, and what I'm going to do on these, I've checked all the ends, they're not split and they're nice and square. So what I'm going to do is leave this pre-finished painted edge against that brick wall there. So obviously that doesn't need to be painted in. What's working out quite cool here, and I'll quickly explain to you, these boards are 4.8s, and it's worked out, again, I didn't plan it, it's just worked out okay. That length there is 2.5, that one's just over 1200, and that one's just over a metre. So if you add all those up, it comes to less than 4.8, but not enough to make a big bit of wastage. So basically what's going to happen here is there's not going to be any joins, which is absolutely awesome. And even for the sake of maybe, you know, half a metre off the end of each board, I don't know what the offcut will be, we'll see, won't we, in a minute. Even for the sake of a little bit of wastage, it's nice not have any joints, because with the best one in the world, this stuff's fairly stable, but it can still shrink. So what I've done there, those aren't in at 600 centres or 400 centres, they're actually in at 500 centres, which I think is absolutely plenty. Same, that's about 550 centres, that one. I didn't think it needed, you know, to have too many in there. And then that one, again, I think that's 450 or something like that. So what I've done, these boards they're all pretty accurately about 181 millimetres wide. So all I've done over here, just because I'm on my own, is I've measured up from this point here 175 mil to there and put a nail in above the line. Done the same on this side. So basically all I'll do is come along now, lift the board up so it hits those nails and fire it in the bottom. And then obviously what that'll do is the board will hang down just to form a sort of drip section. The bottom board will hang down about 6 mil, 7 mil there. So obviously don't want that flush, and the board may well shrink a little bit. So we want to leave it enough, and it should hopefully, I don't quite see, it all should end up, the black line of the boarding should end up about the same line. Can you see I can't even see what I'm looking at, it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, there, look. So the bottom line of the boarding should end up about the same. I can't see what I'm doing, I'm really sorry. It should end up the same with the bottom of that seal and look nice, clean line when we stand back. Right, let's get that. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons. Let's get this board attached. Okay. Oh, that's lovely and flush there. What I'm going to do, just because it's first course and I want to go steady, potentially if I make it, not that I'm making any mistakes, but I'm just going to tack these in by hand, and then we kind of know. That's it. That's noisy. That's lovely. Get all of this in. Right, that's good, that's on. Just get these other tacks in here. Should now be, yeah, you've got a nice, that sort of drip detail there. There's only water here, won't track its way back. Just drip off into this gully down here, so that's great. I'll get these other ones done, and then basically what I think I'm going to do here, because these boards are so dimensionally perfect, I think what I'm going to do, again because I'm on my own, once I gauge it out, which the gauge is going to be more or less 150, maybe 152 mil, so that it works right at the top, and I'll show you that when we come to it. I think I might just be able to ping some lines to the top edge of this board and just go to that. I think they're dimensionally so good, we don't need to worry about it. Obviously normally you should go to the bottom edge, but yeah, let's get these other one and then we can get a line set up and start putting some of these on. Disaster has struck. Well, it's not really a disaster, but it's slightly irritating. I got everything ready for this job, and it's a wonderful, lovely day today, and I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I ordered some stuff to be delivered, and one of the things I ordered to be delivered was a box of 63mm, just a small box of 63mm 63mm galvanised nails. They arrived, they came from Amazon, and I've just opened them, and I can see from the box, look, it clearly says, look, indoor bright, and when you look at them, they're not galv coated, so they were super cheap, and I haven't got any I know I probably always use 63 mils, 3mm nails, but I haven't got any jobs coming up, and I didn't want to have to buy a great big load of them, which are really expensive, and the gas going off, so I just bought these. They were only 10 or 12 quid, so my mistake, I suppose. Well, it's not my mistake, is it? I ordered Galv, and they send Bright, so I'm going to send them back. I'm not going to use them, obviously. I'm not going to use them, ungalvanised nails on this cladding, so I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'll have to pack everything away and go and do the thing I didn't want to do, which is potentially go to a sort of outlet, builder's merchant or something around here, and get absolutely fleeced for them, but needs must, I'm afraid. So, yeah, down tools at the minute. It's a bit of an irritation. Right, we're back in the game. Lost about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Local tool station had this pack. It's got like 1,100 nails in, 550 of the 63s I want, and 550 of some 90s. I'm sure I'm going to use them, but more importantly, they're sort of galved. So, yeah, they were pretty expensive, but every now and again, you know that you're going to have to take it no lube. So hopefully we'll be able to walk the pain of that off as we crack on with the job. All that bottom course is on now, so what I'm going to do is just quickly talk about how I want to gauge it. Now, I've spoken about this in other videos, but when it comes to featherboarding, I don't like it. I like it, if I can, where anything that goes above a window or door, and windows and doors externally usually at about 2.1, which is divisible by 150, so you can mess about generally. I mean, you can mess about a lot with your courses. You can gain or stretch them slightly. I always like it. If you just see on that garage over there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look, can you see how there's a full course across both the garage door and the side door? And I always try and do that where I can. So again, as I said, these openings are usually 2.1-ish, so we're close enough on a 150mm gauge. So what I've done here, obviously we're going to have it's some 4x1 I'm going to use for these cheeks here, and that ends up about sort of 23mm. So we're going to come in here sort of 23mm. What I've done, there's a slightly bigger gap there. I've come down 25mm, and that's that mark there. So that literally is where I want my course to work to exactly. And then you'll see when we come to this detail, we can put a piece of maybe 6 or 9mm ply will go in there after we've sealed it all up to just form a little soffit. Or we may even be able to put a piece of 4x1 all the way through there, but we'll come to that when we come to do it. You'll see. So all I really need to do now is take a measurement from the bottom here, which is the bottom of this course, all the way up to here, which is the bottom of that course, and divide it by 150. That'll get me my number. Then I use that number and divide the actual measurement. So the measurement to here, that's 2.1 to there, that's 2 meters and 80. So literally, we've got to basically squeeze. There's 14 courses down here, so we've got to basically squeeze each course down by whatever that measurement is, 25mm, 20mm, it's 20mm divided by 14, obviously. So each course has only got to be slightly under 150mm. But what I'll do is I'll mark it out on a rod, and then I'll know that we can keep an eye on that rod, and as we're putting our boards up, we can keep checking with the rod, and we know we won't get out. So and then obviously what that'll do is have a nice full board all the way through the top, which will look super neat and tidy. And you may be wondering, when I cut this little sliver off a board, you might have thought that I have basically ruined a board, but I double checked this, and I knew that that's the length that that's the width of board that we're gonna need on the end. So having taken that tiny bit off, where is it? It's here somewhere. Oh, I don't know where it is. I'll put it down somewhere now. But anyway, that board is there. That board that I took that rip off is still plenty wide enough to use for this final strip here. So let's make a rod and see if we can get some stuff set out. I'm starting to lose the light now. I think sooner or later the sun's going to go over the yard arm, and I'm going to be in shadow, and I'm going to be cold as well. So anyway, let's get that done. Right, I've cut my gauging stick, and I've put the marks all up. I don't know if I explained it as well as I could have done, but basically we need to come from 0, that bottom course there, and we need to finish on a course exactly here, which is 2078. So it's about 20 or 22mm under 2.1, which would work exactly 150mm courses. So I'll just quickly show you. It's really simple. If we put into the calculator, we can see it there, 2078 divided by 14. I know it's 14 courses just because I do. I've done it enough times. Equals, so if we just clear a few of those decimal places off. So now we'll use the calculator, literally 148 plus 148.42, is that there? Equals, we've got 296. So all we do here, look, we've got 148. 148 is the first one, 296 is the second one. So then if we just go equals, you see it's there, and then if we press, you just see there, if we keep pressing equals, it just adds on 148 each time. So the next one, look, it's 445. We press it again, 593, and basically work all the way up until it comes back to exactly, at the top here, comes back to exactly 2078. So hopefully that's made that clearer. So I've got my gauging stick here, and you can see, look, I'm just going to try and do this. If I hold the gauging stick, look, flush with the bottom of that course there, what we can do is we can see, we could transfer those marks on there, and that would be the bottom of the gauge. And as you can see, here we go, just get it right. As you can see, as we go up, we get to the top. That top mark is exactly, I'm going to push that, look, it's exactly where it needs to be. Look, can you see that? I promise I'm not making it fit, that is right. So what we could do now is that mark there, we could mark that directly onto the board, ping a line all the way across there, and we would then fit the bottom of our board to that. The reason I want to do that is A, I don't want chalk lines all over here, and B, it's more difficult. I'm working on my own, so I'd have to put a nail into this board. I'd have to put a nail into this board to support the board. So what I'm actually going to do, as I said, because these boards are all exactly 183 mil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit off the top of this rod. We know that that bottom course is in level, so then all I need to do is literally, I can't quite do there because that's too long, look. We can basically work to the top, so all I need to do is still the same gauge. We can work, if I sit this on top of this boarding here, I can put this mark on here, we put the top of each board to that, and we know the gauge will work exactly right and the lap will be exactly right. So that's what I'm going to do to make that easier for myself. Right, so I've taken a few minutes, and you might think it's a bit excessive, but basically all of the gauging out's done now. So I've put some marks, you see, with my gauging rod. I don't know if I'm zooming that in all the time. With my gauging rod, look, wherever I put it, as long as it goes on top of this course here, look, yeah, I've transferred those marks across, done it each end, done it over there. As you can see, look, same here. Okay, so done it there, done it on here. I've done it on this one, that one, and that one. So it really is, it only took me sort of 10 minutes, but there's no more messing around with strings or gauging or anything. Every course that I nail, I just have to nail it to the top of there. And as I said, I'm going to repeat myself, that only works gauging to the top when the boards are consistent width. If the boards aren't quite as good a quality and aren't quite as good a width, you have to gauge to the bottom. So I don't know what I'm going to do now, if I'm honest. It's starting to get a bit late, and I've kind of run out of time today. I lost that little bit of time getting those nails, so I might get a few things square and get psyched. I've got a little thing to do this afternoon on my way home, so I might just get square in my head what I'm going to do here, and then maybe hit this tomorrow, or I don't know what the weather's supposed to do, but maybe hit it all in one go, because I'm not going to get it. There's no way that I'm going to get this sort of finished today anyway. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'm running out. I've just gone blank. It's gone blank now. I don't know what I'm saying. I've waffled myself into some sort of comatose state. We'll carry on another time.